Hello, welcome to Spell Day. We're covering a spell every single day of the year from the 5e PHB +3. Those +3 spells are homebrew spells. We're at +2 at the moment. You gotta back in the playlist to find them, and today's spell is Tree Stride. 5th level Conjuration, casting time of 1 action, range of self, components verbal somatic, duration concentration up to 1 minute. You gain the ability to enter a tree and move from inside it to another tree of the same kind within 500 feet. Both trees must be living and at least the same size as you. Must use 5 feet of movement to enter a tree. You instantly know the location of all other trees of the same kind within 500 feet. As part of the move used to enter the tree, you can either pass into one of those trees or step out of the tree you're in. You appear in a spot of your choice within 5 feet of the destination tree using another 5 feet of movement. If you have no movement left, you appear within 5 feet of the tree you entered. You can use this transportation ability once per round. For the duration, you must end each turn outside a tree. Okay. I forgot this lasted more than instantaneous. So, the Tree Stride spell. This is an upgraded version of, potentially, Dimension Door, but kind of. Okay. Also, there's the ability under Dryad, which is also called Tree Stride. There are some differences between this one and the Dryad one. With the Dryad one, it's just within 60 feet instead of 500, but it's any tree, not the same kind. Because with Tree Strides, it needs to be the same tree, the same kind of tree within 500 feet that is also the same size to accept you. So oak to oak, pine to pine, etc. Which might limit it a bit, but when you're in a forest, there's likely going to be more of the same tree. Not to mention that once you cast it, you can use it every turn. You can even be hopping the same destination tree to head to another destination tree. It just takes a bit more movement. While it does take movement and not an action to actually use this outside of the initial casting, you can only go through one tree per round, so it does limit you from just having some character with a bunch of movement speed hopping in and out, in and out, in and out, and then traveling over 1,000 feet in one turn. But still, if you're outside of combat, you can get some distance in some woods. In combat as well, being able to instantly move between 2 different trees, I mean, it's once per round, but still, it's a teleport. But similar to transport via plants or teleportation circle, it's locked to a point. Though, once you do enter this, it actually tells you all viable locations within 500 feet, and then you can daisy chain it from there. But it's just finding a tree that size in the first place, because it does have to be at least your same size, which is an ability that actually benefits smaller creatures. Halfling, gnome, and otherwise with this, yeah, more likely to find trees you can use. 5th level, I would say, kind of hurts it, but with Dimension Door, this being every round isn't that bad. Yes, you're still limited to its viability being within woods instead of anywhere, but it's 500 feet each round for a minute. It's quite the distance. It's 5,000 feet. It's nothing to scoff at if you can maximize its distance. Not to mention those tree tokens become a lot more valuable. Plant growth as well, honestly anything that allows you to grow a tree real quick. Also, another fun thing to actually take into consideration, transport via plants had the stipulation it had to be an inanimate plant. Tree Stride does not. Now, the question comes to classification of can you only go from awakened tree to awakened tree, or any awakened tree of that same kind. So in awakened oak, you can just travel to a normal oak. Honestly, if you cast the awakened spell and then have a consistent getaway, I mean, you're going to be leaving behind the awakened tree, but you can take some kind of teleportation or daisy chain awakened trees with you. But again, like Druid circles or any culture group that has instant access to this, they might be purposely planting similar kinds of trees within 500 feet of each other, having this weird pattern and orchard-like look. I mean, being able to go 5,000 feet in a minute? Because if you're using this outside of combat, the concentration doesn't hurt that bad, but in combat, 500 foot, somewhere within 500 feet, but you are limited to the location. It's not like Dimension Door where you can pick a point. It's a set point of these trees that you get. Which might be none, which might be a lot. It varies on the location, which limits it. Player can make use of this, but debatably with concentration in the middle of combat, that might be a bit harder to ask for. Outside of combat, you can't bring anyone with you. Not being able to bring anyone with you really hurts it, especially for a party. If you're just letting the Druid go off and scout away, which also limits it settlement-wise, but settlement-wise as well, if you have a group of Druids and an entire Druid circle traveling this way with a 5th level spell, then again, why won't you just cast... Well, I guess that's why. Transport via plants is 6th level and can go anywhere on the plane. And if you have a system set up or you're in a dense forest or woodland, Tree Stride wouldn't be that bad of a slightly lower level alternative. It's just a cheaper single target option. It takes time as well. You're hopping from tree to tree to tree. But 5,000 feet in 1 minute. or about 2,500 there and back within a minute. You could definitely set up situations to get some value, but it's just less universally applicable since it's single target and limited to certain points, unlike transport via plants and other teleport spells. 5 out of 10. I did originally have it higher, but with 1 level spell up with transport via plants, it just way outclasses this. Namely because it's a group anywhere on the plane. Sure, it's only 1 round, but you can get, again, it's across the plane, more for just general long-range travel. When it comes to Tree Stride, this is more for in combat, and you still might be willing to use concentration on something else rather than Tree Stride. And you can still use it for access here and there, even just world-building-wise or NPC-wise, but it's limited by the range and single target. Yeah, 5 out of 10. Could be decent, situational on area and use.